Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name's Chris Webb from the Communication Workers Union. Welcome to a very special joint session with RMTV tonight. Introduce our panel quickly. We've got with us Jenny Hall, who's the Director of Corporate Affairs at Royal Mail. Evening, Jenny.
Hi.
We've got Terry Pullinger, our Deputy General Secretary. Good evening, Terry.
Good evening.
And we've got Simon Thompson, the CEO of Royal Mail Group. Good evening, Simon.
Yeah, hi everyone, and hi Chris.
So I can already see we've got over 1,500 people who have already come on live with us tonight. So that's fantastic. This session really is going to be covering a number of areas. First and most importantly is an open Q&A, a chance for you to question the leadership of both the company and the independent trade union, which is really, really important. But also we're here to talk about culture and what we're going to do about that and the big trust survey that the union and Royal Mail are so invested in. And it's so important that you invest yourselves in that and take part in the coming days and weeks. So we got that as a session tonight planned for us. So a few ground rules, if you like. So we want you to let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how long you've worked for the company, how long you've been a member of the union. Let us know that you're proud to be a postal worker. We want you to help us spread the word, because we've already got now 2,000 people online, but you can make that more. You can tag your friends, tag your colleagues, like the post, share it, and get it out as far and wide as you possibly can. So you have a role to play tonight as well. So the plan tonight is we're going to have a short introduction from Simon and Terry, and we're going to get into all of the questions, and that's the critical thing for us tonight. And I think Terry's obviously going to cover this in some depth, but I think we'd like to run the session like from a CWU member's perspective in the same way we always do, which is like robust but fair challenge. So there's going to be no sort of dodging of difficult questions or difficult issues tonight. We will take anything that comes our way, but all we ask is that people put those questions and those views across in the most respectful way possible, and then we'll try and deal with just as many as we possibly can. So that's it from me as a way of an introduction. I'm looking forward to putting as many questions to Simon and Terry as we possibly can. I'm going to hand over to Jenny now for a few words.
Thanks so much, Chris. And it's brilliant to meet you all. And it's also brilliant to be doing our first ever session that's both on Workplace, which is quite a big new platform for us in Royal Mail, and also on all of the CWU's channels as well. So I'm not going to say very much, but yeah, I do the comms same as Chris does for Royal Mail, and it's absolutely brilliant that we're doing this joint event today. So it's the first time we've ever done something like this. I'm not going to lie, I've been a bit nervous in the run up to it, but I think that this is going to be a very exciting evening, and also it's on such an important topic. I mean, I've heard Simon talking about trust improving the culture so much, and obviously Terry's been talking about it for many years as well. It's really, really important that CWU, Royal Mail and Unite and everyone in the company are all kind of working together to improve this. So before that, looking forward to hearing the questions. Terry, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chris and Simon, and you, Jenny. Thanks for setting this up. I mean, this is hugely significant as far as I'm concerned, and is a clear, strong start point of where we're going in terms of our agreement. We've been working hard deploying that agreement, but we're desperate to seize the opportunity for the future of Royal Mail, improve the culture, improve trust. So for the CEO to join us on one of these, which has never happened before, unscripted, to take live questions, whatever those questions are, I think it's hugely significant, and I think it's really important that we're doing this tonight. And who knows, if it goes well, maybe we'll do more of them in the future. Now, it's really been set up to launch the big trust survey that we're doing jointly. But, in truth, what it's really all about, and there's a number of initiatives that we're doing now and trying to structure and set up, because we have both agree, Simon and I, and Jenny's right, I've been convinced about this for a long, long time. Culture is the one thing that I believe changes everything. Culture and trust, not just in a small way, but I think it could be dynamic for this business if we can get that right. If we can rebuild trust and an excellent culture in Royal Mail, is something that we, as I say, we've campaigned on for a long time. It's got to be done, and it's got to start somewhere. But for us to genuinely do it, it's not enough just to say, we want to improve the culture and we're going to tell everyone, just go out there and improve the culture. What we need to do, we need to understand what the problems are, what you see as the problems in the workplace. So this is a massive respect that we're giving to people in the workplace, because we're convinced that's where the answers lie to us rebuilding trust and culture. So this is an opportunity, building on the culture visits that we done when we did the 4 Pillars Agreement, and then sadly that all went wrong, but we're not going to dwell on that. This survey isn't like the other employee opinion survey. This is a survey coming into the workplace, giving every single person the opportunity to answer some questions and expose to us the good and the bad. And if it's bad and if they're difficult truths, we want to know. So we were going to be encouraging as many people to get involved. Whatever people's views are on this, you were going to have the opportunity to express them via this trust survey. So it is really genuine. It is going to lead to other activity. It will not identify individuals, but it will identify the office. So we will be able to start drilling down and improving trust and culture in every single workplace and understand where they're good and they're bad. It's hugely important. Thanks again to Simon for coming on and doing this, because I think this really gives it the impetus we need to take this forward and improve the culture in Royal Mail. Good. Thanks, everyone.
So good evening, everyone. It's lovely to see you all. Terry, always nice to see you as ever, because I know we spend a fair bit of time together. So Tim, I just want to talk about a few things just to start off with. Jenny, it's lovely hearing you talk so positively about this session, because I remember when Terry and I were talking about this first time around, I'm not entirely sure you're absolutely enthusiastic about it, particularly around the technology, but it's great that it's working. And by the way, Tim, you know, we are trying new things in a new way, because we really want to see if there are new ways of perhaps solving some problems that have been around for a while. And Terry's mentioned that. A couple of other things for you. We did the first trust survey. I was really, really keen when I first came in, and actually a lot of it triggered from what Terry had said to me and what I'd seen myself around the place. I think it's fantastic that 80% of the team out there are really proud to wear the badge. I think that's totally tremendous. But, you know, when we hear that people aren't feeling valued, that they don't feel as though they can participate in decisions that impact them, and that their view of senior management is a little bit variable. Do you know, the truth is, when I read that, I just felt a little bit sad. And the reason I felt sad is that when I go out and about and I meet the team, the magnificent team that we have wonderful trust at the doorstep, but for some reason, we don't have trust everywhere else. I do have one other thing to share with you. In terms of the trust survey, I think we've been live for about 36 hours so far. We've got 8,642 people that have responded. Thank you very much. So we're up at 6% already. Last time we did it, we got to around about 22,000, around about 16%. So I think we're really optimistic. And thanks to Terry and the team and Team Unite as well, we're really optimistic that this time we're going to hear more voices, so we can have even more clarity around the bits that are great, because some bits are great, but frankly, the bits that are less great. And we have reduced the normal engagement survey questions from 43 down to, 20 odd. So we are confident that it'll only take a few minutes to complete it. So please help us help you. And Chris, I think I'm passing back to you to get us going.
You are indeed, Simon. Thank you. That's an excellent introduction from you guys. So, I mean, one of the things I saw on our Facebook page this afternoon was an accusation that we would be vetting the questions, if you like, tonight, and only giving you both some underarm bows and some easy questions. So let's knock that one out of the park straight away. I'm going to come to you, Terry, and you, Simon, actually, because I think when Jenny and I were discussing this, I think lots of the questions will come to you both, really. So this one is directed to Simon, but I'm going to ask Terry to pick it up first, and then from a union perspective, and then Simon afterwards. And this is from Robert Bracelet. It says, Simon, do you really believe that all your senior managers want to work jointly with the CWU? And I suppose the twist on that to you, Terry, is like, obviously there's, you two have outlined an improving relationship already in this session just by being sat on it together, I suppose, as a statement of intent. But there are lots of people coming through in the questions who are not seeing that come locally. And they're also wondering what, the senior managerial and senior union team are doing in terms of relationships. So Terry first.
Well, what I'd say is in all my time, I've been the national officer of the union since 2001. I've been in a union official for God knows how many years now. So I've seen good relationships. I've seen really bad relationships. the relationships have been really bad, especially over the last 2 years. Have been extremely difficult, and people get in places and you say things, and I've certainly said my piece about a lot of managers in Royal Mail, etc. But then we're in this place where we've got an agreement now, and the skill of that, and the skill of true leaders, is that you have to get yourself out of that adversarial place and get into a positive place, and put that behind you. You never forget these things, but you put it behind you, and you've got to go with positivity. That's what you've got to do. So for me, I've seen a change in the management, the leadership and management in the negotiations. From the moment we got the agreement, I think we started to see a change. But the real test of people, and I'll be honest with you, whether they're going to do well going forward, will be people who can embrace doing things differently, who can genuinely look at things in a mutual interest way, who can treat people with respect, and who can build trust right the way through the organisation and through the union, through Royal Mail Group. And most importantly to us is down there in the workplace, where in the last 12 months, people have absolutely proven that give them the opportunity to work together and come up with solutions, even though it's been so difficult and there would have been strained relationships and pressure to try and get things done, we have still delivered as far as the nation's concerned. So, and in lots of places, and we've done Q&As, smaller Q&As, Simon and I, around the country, and people have felt that it's helped build relationships. So it's really those who want to get on board, they'll be fine. If people are just acting, they're going to get found out. They will get caught out, and I'm pretty sure that means they won't succeed in Royal Mail going forward.
Thank you, Terry. Simon, your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll build on what Terry said. I mean, look, it's not optional. It's not optional. You know, we need to work with each other brilliantly. We need to do it with our heart, not just with our head. It's not optional. It's really important. And look, the other thing I would say is that, look, it's the old thing, isn't it? You know, people do not forget how you've made them feel. They might forget what you've said. And I do acknowledge that there is some scar tissue around the place. You know, I think the atmosphere over the last period of time has probably not been the best. And I'm sure some of us have said some things to each other that we might regret and are probably not terribly being forgotten. But we need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge it takes a period of time for that repair to come. But, you know, it's just not optional. Terry mentioned, Terry and I have been doing some listening groups recently. And one thing that we hear totally consistently is that during the pandemic, we have actually found a way to work together, everybody, in an absolutely brilliant way against some extraordinary circumstances. And we just need to keep that going. And when I go out and about, and I'm out and about a lot, I have to say that I think people are relieved that we've got this agreement in many cases. Personally, I'm really excited about it, but I understand there's a lot of people are relieved. And I think we're now starting to get some momentum. But I think what I said at the start is probably the key thing of what I've said, is that having trusted relationships everywhere, whether it's senior managers in the CWU or whoever else it might be, it's just not optional. It needs to happen.
Thanks, Simon. Sorry, Jenny, over to you.
Yeah, so Simon, this is obviously, I mean, it's the first time that you've done one of these live sorts of events. We've seen one question come up from Ricky asking, what's your actual overall aim for Royal Mail Group? But not only that, and also the workforce going forward. You've spoken a bit about trust, but what do you have to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, Jenny? Well, look, I'll just be straight with everyone. I'll tell you the brief I've got from the board. The brief I've got from the board is to reinvent this British icon for the next generations. That's my brief. That's what I'm totally razor focused on. And I suspect Terry is as well. But I mean, Terry can definitely speak for himself, but I know we've been chit-chatting about it. I think in terms of the workforce, and I mentioned it earlier on, you know, we have trust at the doorstep. We need trusted relationships everywhere we have within the organization. And I'm personally very, very proud that we have some of, if not in most cases, the best conditions in town. And I think we should be really, really proud of that. So Ricky, the answer to the question is, you know, overall, my absolute fixated focus during my time here, which I expect to be long and successful, with thanks for everyone that's on this call, is to reinvent this British icon for the next generations, have trusted relationships everywhere, and for us all to be proud of wearing the badge and working for a company that has some of, if not the best conditions in town. I think that would be great.
What's your reaction to that, Terry? What's your vision?
Well, it's so nice to hear that, isn't it, from the CEO of the company. And it's the other bit to add to that is when Simon's talking about reinvent this great British icon. We have always believed that it's ridiculous to think that this great public service, which it still is, can't be built upon and can't be here for generations to come. And is what our ambition is, to still have postal workers coming up people's paths in years to come. And I can't see any reason why there shouldn't be. What was attacking Royal Mail, as far as we was concerned, ever since privatisation, was the lack of ambition, and if anything, the sense that people wanted to chop bits off of it. Whereas the conversation now is not. It's about growing that. It's about trying to open up other revenue streams that enable us to protect this great public service. In terms of people being proud to be postal workers, well, that's exactly what we've done. I think what's happening when you have bad trust and bad culture, bad relationships, I think it's draining. It's been draining on the organisation, it's been draining on our people, and we forget. I think our people forget what an amazing job they do. As Simon's already touched on, people being loved and trusted and appreciated on the doorstep, and there's no question of that, the British public, and especially coming out of this pandemic, what they feel of postal workers. But we've always had the reputation that the postal workers always get through. Extreme weather, everything. Ian Porter, the golfer, that's what they call him, the postman. He always delivers in the Ryder Cup. Postal workers always get, we should be so proud to be postmen. I am absolutely proud that I was a postman and still consider myself a postman. So to make that relevant for the modern day, to keep that here for people, to create really decent jobs for decent people, and we're now talking about job creation, not decline. It's everything we wanted. This is what, as far as I'm concerned, as a union, this is what we fought for. This is our opportunity, but we've got to take it now. And we've got to stop this draining relationship in the workplace. If we're so trusted, so appreciated, so loved on the doorstep, why don't people feel like that when they're in work? We've got to deal with that. And this survey is a real first chance for anyone to express their views and let us know, because we will then shape initiatives going forward to improve the trust and the culture within the workplace. It's great news to hear people talking about this great British icon with ambition and with a determination to make it seed and still be around for years to come. It's absolutely everything we wanted in terms of us standing up trying to defend it.
Jenny, sorry, Chris, am I allowed to do an ad, or is that totally breaking the rules? Because sometimes
it depends on how long it's going to be. If it's going to be quick, because we've got so many questions for you. Go on.
You know what? Go on, Chris. Look, I wanted to tell a story. So, Chris, last week I went to all of our customer contact centres. I did Plymouth, I did Stoke, I did Barnsley, I did Sunderland, and hello to all of the team there as well. But I wanted to tell a quick story, because the first call I took, or it might be in the second call, was a lady had called in because she wanted to make sure that her postman was okay, because she hadn't seen him for a while. Why do I tell that story? Because I thought it was amazing that someone would come through the contact centre through escalations with sheer determination to find out whether their postal worker was actually okay. I think if we ever have any doubt as to how we are appreciated at the doorstep, if I ever had any doubt, that call totally proved the point. Sorry, Chris, I just wanted to add that because it was something that really struck me last week. It's probably wasted some time, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, that's
I'm sorry.
On the members and employees' behalf, we'll add that time at the end, no problem. We've got loads and loads of questions for you. One that, again, it's back to that theme of both yourself, Simon, and Terry, both for your credit, have not seen any of the questions that's coming in. Obviously, you both come on and said, just throw them at us. And one that both Jenny and myself have seen come in really regularly is the issue of bullying, and people saying that they feel bullied in the workplace by their local manager. In the main, that's the comment. that's coming through. And Bob Maguire here says, Simon, we can't have one rule for managers and one for posties. The variant of treatment is vast. It's absolutely critical in regards to changing the culture. So I know that is something that you'll both want to comment on, but I think, you know, Jenny will hopefully support me that that's a very sort of regularly asked question in the comments that we've got tonight so far. Yeah, so Terry first.
All right. Yeah, well, I'll answer Bob direct. Evening, Bob. But it's got to be dealt with. If we don't deal with it, then we won't have succeeded in re-establishing trust and changing the culture in the workplace. And I'm aware of a lot of that. I mean, a lot of that be before Simon got here, but I'm sure he hears the stories, and I certainly don't hesitate to appraise him of some of those situations. But it's the same as when, you know, we've had managers who haven't been able to form good relationships in one office, and we move them to another office, and lo and behold, then there's bad relationships again and things. But it's, you know, I don't want to make this all about managers, because I think in previous years gone by, I think managers have almost been encouraged to be that way, to not form relationships with us, but basically this view where workers are just told what they should do, and they shouldn't have any intelligence. They shouldn't be able to say that change things that might do the business better and things like that. No ideas, just do as you're told. And I think in the past that's been encouraged. Now that may be an uncomfortable truth, as far as I'm concerned. That's the truth, and people don't want to hear it. But that's what this is about. Unless we get those things dealt with, Bob, unless people are confident and trust the people dealing with them, then it won't work. So we've absolutely got to get past all that stuff. We've got to deal with it, and we've got to be straight with everybody.
Yeah, and Chris, if you don't mind, I'll just add a little bit. That I don't believe that we have ever put in any job advertisement, bullies welcome. And the reason I say that is the bit that's got me puzzled, because I'm out and about a lot, is that when I meet the team, whether they're senior managers, the front line, whether there are cleaners or whether there are technicians or whatever else it is, I mean, maybe I've struck lucky. I don't think so. I've never met somebody that I thought was a bully, but it goes on. And the question that I have, and I don't have an answer yet, is maybe there's something that we are doing that is putting people in a situation where they either feel that's okay or they feel that's what they have to do to get the outcome. I don't know. I don't know. And I hope that part of this process that we're doing will start to understand the reasons for why. Because my overall impression is that people are proud to be here and they're magnificent people, but it definitely goes on. It definitely needs to stop. But I am also interested in what's causing it. I'd really like to understand that too. And it may well be, you know, and by the way, Tim, when I'm out and about, if you have some information you can give me around what you think is driving this reality, I would love to know, because then maybe we can figure out what the root cause of the problem is and really stop it at source.
Thanks, Simon. We're seeing, so building on that, we're seeing quite a few questions coming through as well about how people, you know, really enjoy their job, but at the moment they haven't always got the tools for the job. And one of the things that's actually really coming through is around vans, the fact that the parcels are growing so much. Do we actually have the capacity in there? Are we giving people what they need to be actually adapting to business? Maybe, I think Simon, that's probably one for you to start off with.
Oh, tools of the job, Jenny. You know, it's my favorite hobby horse, Jenny. You know this one, right? Whether it's delivery officers, whether it's vans, whether it's PDAs, whether it's uniforms. Look, let's start with vans, right? We don't have enough that are the right shape. We have too many that are too old. And we have too many that are off-road on a regular basis. It's just a problem. It's just a problem. Mm. And I think the other thing as well is when I have a look at the costs that I see for rental vehicles, you know, it kind of makes me cry. And then when I see the additional costs of when we send the rental vehicles back and apparently we've damaged them, we get another bill, it makes me cry a little bit more. We are doing huge amounts of work on this. And I do wonder, on the grounds we need to make an investment, particularly on vans, and we're right in the middle of it now. I do wonder whether it's an opportunity to jump ahead, perhaps with electrification. But one thing that I would say, team, is that, you know, these investments are big, and my ask of everybody is let's look after them like they're our own. I think that's really important. And again, I do confess, when I see some of our vans out there, which frankly are not the best anyway in terms of condition, I do wonder whether we could look after them a little bit better. But I'll leave that one for yourselves. But I think the fundamental is our vans are not fit for purpose as they stand. We know we've got a problem. We're trying to solve the problem super, super quickly. Please bear with us. It's on the top of the list. And we know PDA is a problem, but actually we think we've solved it. I got them signed up. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that, am I? In a public call. We might have got agreement to that today. Sorry, Jenny. So I think there are some solutions that are definitely on the way.
Is that something that you hear coming through as well, Terry, from your members?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to me. It's going to be where we invest and what is the priority. And I'm pretty sure that Simon on his travels is seeing that there's been a huge lack of investment in the estate, in many of our offices that are just struggling, you know, with more parcels, etc. And there's so many different aspects of the operation that could do with a real injection of investment. So it's going to be you're talking everything you touch in Royal Mail is millions of pounds, isn't it? So there's going to have to be a strategy around that. But certainly if we're delivering parcels and we're taking on more parcels and we want other products on the doorstep, then you have got to have the tools and you've got to have the vehicles. And I think by definition, we will need bigger vehicles. People are, we're going to get people back to in a van as the sanctions lift in terms of the COVID. But the problem we're going to have is once you go to in a van, you'll then be putting more than one delivery into a van. So, and if you've got huge amounts of parcels and packets, that's going to be a challenge in the size of our current vans. So whatever that investment is in vehicles, and certainly electric has got to play a part of it. I mean, we really should be the industry leader on that because it is the direction of travel. And in towns, especially in some of the bigger towns, if they put things in place, it could put us well ahead of any competition by being the ones with an electric fleet, etc. We've got to look at that, but the investment's got to be sound because it's got to, we want that to really fit the purpose for the operation we've got and the ambition we've got going forward. So that's there for a while, and then you can invest as well in the estate and all the other things that need investment. So a crucial decision. Far too many times, my years in Royal Mail, I've seen investments made that, a year later they regret making that investment, and they should have done something else. They shouldn't have got letter automation. We should have got parcel automation. These sort of real big decisions. Now is the moment we've got to make the right decision, and especially on our vehicles. And I think that will result in bigger vehicles.
Thanks, Terry. That's brilliant. And thank you, Simon. Just to let everyone know and let Simon and Terry know, we've just hit 10,000 views of the session so far. So that's fantastic. And again, to reiterate, you can play your part. Please keep sharing. Please keep getting the links out there, tagging your colleagues and letting them know that this session's taking place. Going to try and whip through a few more questions now before we get into the issue of the trust survey. A couple of quick questions. One for Terry, which is a lot of people asking about where we are on holiday pay and our long-running dispute with the company. So asking if Terry can cover that one. And also Rian here has asked, she's saying waterproof to Simon, waterproof PDA would help a great deal. And quite a few people have mentioned PDAs and improving that element of equipment. So holiday pay to Terry and PDAs to Simon.
Well, what we've not been doing, Chris, I mean, that wasn't covered in the pathway to change agreement, but we have absolutely been in talks on average holiday pay on the basis of we're trying to change everything and move things forward positively. It was crucial we deal with that issue as well. And we are in negotiation. We've made more progress than we've ever made before on the subject. When we reach an agreement, it'll have to be tested on the members, but it's also we're going at great lengths to look after our part-timers and put the protocols in place to make sure part-timers are dealt with in the right way. Too many part-timers have been out there working full-time hours. So yes, they should be getting their average holiday pay, but in truth, for those who want it, they should have had changes, variations to their contract to reflect the work that they've been doing. The revision activity will determine where we need extra resource or where our part-timers, if they want to, can increase their hours and maybe get full-time status, etc. If all those things are done properly, then yes, we still need an average holiday pay, but there is a lot of circumstances where people could have been protected from that without an average pay agreement, just by having variations of contracts or SAs for part-timers, etc. But all I'll say is, I'm hoping that it's imminent that we get something over the line we can recommend to the executive and then subsequently to our members, because it's a terms and conditions issue. But we are closer than we've ever been, is what I'd say, to a negotiators agreement.
Thank you, Terry. Simon, on PDAs and equipment.
Well, actually, Chris, here it is. Oh, hang on, I'll get that on my camera, because I actually took the new one into the board meeting today to perhaps get approval for these, because I'm not sure whether I can say they've been approved or not. Sorry, Jenny, you can tell me off afterwards. And by the way, not only are they waterproof, the batteries last as well. And not only do the batteries last, they don't crash because they've got enough memory on them. And not only do they not crash, they're actually really easy to use. We tested them with the team, and I think the team actually described them as the Mercedes-Benz of PDAs. And by the way, we had a couple of examples we tested with the team. We've let the team decide, because it's the team that actually use them every day. And the other thing as well, in terms of wraparound care, we're making sure that, if for any reason the straps fail, that you can get replacement ones super quickly. So I'm really optimistic about this, and I expect us to have these rolled out perhaps in time for peak. And it'll also, Terry mentioned it earlier on about, potential other services at the doorstep. I think these pieces of technology are future-proof. There's plenty of capacity in them. So if we want to provide some new services, they'll allow us to do that, as well as them being waterproof.
Thanks very much, Simon. We're also seeing quite a few questions coming through, I suppose, on the topic of mental health. Really, it's been a tough year for people. The workload has been higher, and people have been coping a lot out there. What are your views on what more we need to do, I suppose, to help our people? It's something that the whole of society is dealing with right now. Maybe Terry, if I can come to you first.
Yeah. Well, I said to you, this is just one initiative in respect of improving the culture. Culture touches absolutely everything. As I say, it's the one thing that changes everything. We do have a national culture group, which was set up when we got the 2018 agreement, and then sort of disbanded, obviously. And there's all sort of spin-off groups that come into that. We've got a meeting on Friday, actually, on the main culture group. But one of the groups that's on the side of that doing specific work is around mental health. Certainly one of the things I've become aware of, and I don't know if Simon's picked this up on his trips, but we've got a lot of sort of mental health experts out there in the field, people that have taken the time to get trained on it and things like that. So it's another issue where really we need feedback and input from people. It's a massive issue in society. It's definitely been a massive issue in the last 12 months, of course, with the pandemic and all the problems that's brought to people. But to me, it all slots in with this issue of emotional intelligence, understanding humans, and when we're all human beings, and when you're dealing with people, that's going to be part of building trust as well, is being able to spot these things. And sometimes, maybe people are challenged when actually they're being challenged about something they've done at work, when there's something that should have been spotted, an underlying issue, or for the sake of a conversation or putting your arm around someone, understanding your people, if you like, from all sides, even if it's the rep as well. But the more training we have of frontline managers, frontline reps on the issue of mental health, then the more we can spot things early and hopefully help people deal with that particular issue. But it is absolutely up there, priority, national group, and we'll be talking about how we take that forward. That's absolutely being dealt with.
Yeah, and Terry, if you don't mind me, sorry, Jenny, if you don't mind me adding, so look, team, without getting too personal on these things, I've had some mental health issues that have been quite close to me. All I would say, and by the way, this is from Simon, not the CEO of Royal Mail, where it can be both. But what I would say to you is, please speak up. Don't suffer in silence. If you really feel that you need some help, you just need to say, and we'll help.
Thanks, Simon.
So yeah, brilliant answers both, and we're getting a lot of appreciation for both of your answers as well. So I think sometimes, when I'm doing these things, I forget to to tell the people answering the questions that the answers are going down well. So they are, and that's a great thing. We've now hit 12,500 views on the session across all of our platforms, which of course, to reiterate, are being hosted jointly by the CW and Royal Mail tonight, which is great. A question for both of you, really. We're trying to sort of group some questions together now so we can get through as many as we possibly can this evening, because obviously we want to get onto the crucial issue of the trust survey imminently. And the question I'm grouping together, there's been one question, I've seen you've answered this elsewhere, Simon, so this should be an easy one for you, which is, are you interested in bringing back the cadet scheme? And I know Terry would have a passion for that as well. And a follow-on question about progression through the industry is a lot of our part-time members saying, will we get an opportunity in the future to have our hours increased up to and including full-time? So a question for both of you, really. I'm going to come, just to keep the order the same, I'm going to come to you first, Terry, if that's okay.
Well, I think possibly I'll leave the cadet one to Simon. I think he particularly wants to say something about that. But definitely, what I would say is we got the apprenticeship scheme, which, as you know, the law of the land now spans the age group of an apprentice. I don't know, it could be anything up to sort of 60 years of age or whatever. Now we need to know exactly what our apprenticeship scheme is, because the company has to pay something, I don't know if it's 22 million or something, into a levy, because you should have apprenticeships. But I mean, the real target for us is get a lot of younger people back into the industry. So we've definitely been looking at that, and sometimes the answer lays in the past. So I'll leave the rest of that to Simon. What was the other bit, Chris, you said?
The other bit was around increasing part-time to full-time.
Yeah, I think I've already said in the revision activity, we are looking at, we're going for a high level now, recruitment. So there will be recruitment. There'll be internal recruitment, because people that have been on either temporary contracts, or even if it's increasing part-time hours, there'll be that type. But we just need to be clear. We don't want to just say it, and then people are, it turns into a negative because people are saying, well, what's happening here? Who's doing this, etc. It needs to be some guidelines behind it. We're looking at external recruitment as well, and we want to know how much of that is full-time or how much of that is part-time. And we are definitely looking at, we was talking about 1,000 apprenticeships, particularly targeting young people, but we sort of took that conversation on a bit further. So there will absolutely be the opportunity. There's going to be all these revisions. If the hours are there and part-timers want to increase their hours, vary their contract and be full-time, then I absolutely believe, yes, well, it's a yes, they will have that opportunity.
Thank you, Terry. Simon?
Terry, that was very kind of you to allow me to talk about postal cadets, because I think you've got the passion for it as much as I have, and team, they're coming back. We're just not quite sure the quantities. We should get that worked through pretty soon. But I think the idea of people being able to join us and go across different functions, different experiences, and then grow through the business. There's so many of the team that I meet out and about that came through the Postal Cadet program, and I have never heard a bad word said about it, ever. And Chris, you must have been having a look on Workplace, because I talked about it the other day. And after I talked about it, of all the things that I've spoken about since I've been here, which is a fair few, the number of people that then started posting comments about their personal experiences. I started in X number of, I started in 19, whatever it may be, and I started here and I started there, and this has been a great experience. So team, what I'd say to you is postal cadets are back soon. And as I said last week, between Ricky and Akeem, I'm sure they'll be able to share something with you super soon. But I think it's just really exciting. Terry, thank you for letting me have the joys of that one.
Yeah, Chris, can I just supplement that, because we're delighted that it's coming back, and in the union, that's something we've wanted, and to bring young people in, 16 to 18-year-olds, train them, teach them to drive, and ensure they've got a job at the end of it and everything else. It's brilliant. And Simon's right, the amount of people that tell you that they came right through that system, and it is our way to get talent in for a very young age. But unfortunately, in terms of timing, we are going to have a battle with, well, not necessarily a battle, but we've got to have a conversation, Simon, with, is it Ofsted? Ofsted, we've got to talk to the regulator, because we have to apparently to run the postal cadet scheme. We got to know that they've got to know that if someone's leaving school at 16 into a job, there's got to be proper training associated with it, etc., etc. And we need to get acceptance and clearance from them. The quicker that happens, and we're certainly going to rush at it. I think we're looking next week trying to get hold of them. But in terms of the announcement, come hook or by crook, postal cadets are coming back, as Simon said, and that is great news.
Do you know what, Terry? We'll find a way. I might join myself, actually. Maybe I'm. I think I might be too. I might join myself, but they will be coming back.
Thanks, guys. So we've actually spent over 40 minutes on loads of different topics that have already happened, but we do want to make sure that we get onto the trust survey, because, as we said right at the start, it's such an important thing, and we want all those thousands of people that are watching both on all the CWU channels, but also on Workplace. This is the busiest event we've ever had on Workplace, so thank you for that. We do want to make sure that everyone is responding to the trust survey so that we can act on it. So I think we'll start asking a few questions on that. One of the things, I'm going to be honest, that we've seen coming through is a bit of cynicism about some of these surveys. I've been here for 32 years and not much has ever happened off the back of these surveys. What can you say to people? What do you think's different this time? Why is it so important? And I'll stick again with the order if I come to Terry first.
Well, it's just, you just know when something's different, and this is different. And we've tried to explain at the start of this that the way this is being done and the way it's being presented here tonight, you know, with myself and the CEO of the company, telling everyone this is important. We can't afford what this does. It puts pressure on us, doesn't it? Because I know there'll be cynicism, and I know people have said I've had IR reviews, I've had questionnaires, I've had people's surveys, we've had all sorts of things done, and nothing ever gets done with it. Nothing ever changes. The way this is structured, we absolutely made sure, because Simon went out with one, didn't he, as the CEO on his own. So we had to have a chat about that. Just went straight out on his own. But actually, it was the authenticity of the answers to those questions and the uncomfortable truths that came back from the few people that engaged in it, which told us it was worth doing this joint one, really worth doing it. But we know we don't want to identify individuals. We're not setting up a blame culture here, but we need to understand the offices and the functions, because if there's problems, we got to get in there, because we cannot have underlining negativity, which stops us what we're trying to do now and grasp this opportunity that we've got for all of us and for this great public service. So this, I can assure you, this is different. I certainly don't want to be accused of we've done that survey and nothing happened with it. We're not. I don't believe we're setting up as a blame culture, but for sure, if we identify really bad areas, really bad offices or functions or whatever, of course we're going to come and ask why. We're going to come and deal with it. We cannot just leave this stuff underneath bubbling away. We got to deal with it, all the uncomfortable truths, but also take on board all the good stuff, because that's going to help us as well improve relationships or culture in the bad places. So we want to do that. But for the cynics who think something's got to be done because there's something negative that they're experiencing, you've got to fill this in. You've got to let us know, because if you let us know, we can then come out, we can use our structures, and we can find out what the problem is, and we can deal with it, because we're absolutely determined to deal with it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
By the way, Terry, publicly, I'm very sorry I did what I did. It was good intent. It was definitely good intent. But anyway, the great thing is that, and also thanks to Michelle at Team Unite as well, it's great that we're doing it this time round. Actually, Team, I've got nothing else to add to what Terry said. I agree with every word.
Yeah.
Thanks, Simon. Again, it was just a chance to get some more in. That's good news. And one of the things that, I mean, we did say to you and Terry before we came on that we'd only look to keep you around 45 minutes, but we've got so many more questions. Are we okay to stay here for another 10, 15 minutes so we can get as many in? Great stuff. That's good news. So, I mean, as you were both speaking then on the trust survey, I mean, the comments were flying in, and I suppose it's, you know, almost like to double down on what Jenny had said, really, because people were saying, like, there's a lot of people here tonight saying they're really liking what both Terry and yourself, Simon, are saying, but they're also saying, like, you know, I've had nothing done about Have You Say for years and years. You know, we've put in this, that, and the other, and our manager hasn't listened to it. We've got no faith in this process. So, I mean, to move forward, we have to take these sort of steps, clearly, to make things better. But I'm going to come to Terry first, because there is a huge weight of history. And I know you recognise this, Terry, more than anyone. But, you know, obviously, you know, one session with you guys isn't going to wash away someone's experience over a number of years, for example. So how, both Terry and Simon, how do we cut through that and ensure that we get as many people filling out that survey as we possibly can? And whilst you're answering, we'll put up the link so people will know where to go to start filling out that survey. So Terry first. Well,
it starts with leadership, which is why we're doing this tonight. It starts with a message from us that this is different. This is just the start of something that will keep going. So different forms of this survey, if we had to come to certain areas, if we had to do it on a quarterly basis with a lot less questions, we know it's essential that we do this. So some people would have approached it a different way in the past. They would have said it's essential that we get this piece of technology in. It's essential, whatever, it doesn't matter that we change the job or everyone's on late or whatever. It's all that, but nothing is possible. Nothing is possible from a positive perspective and people embracing stuff unless you get people in the right place, unless you've got the right culture. You've just got to think about someone you trust. And if they say something to you, you're not automatically thinking, hello, what are they after? What are they saying that? You know, when you don't trust someone, it just breeds negativity and resistance to things we want to do. It's really important that our workplaces feel that they've got autonomy on a daily basis to work together and deal with the problems and the solutions, not someone in some, you know, building in London or anyone else and the computer says this. Those people are facing daily challenges. They have done during this pandemic. And we know if we get the right relationships, they can do that. That is far stronger than anything else. Then when we have to bring in new technology or new ways of working or whatever, it's a different conversation. It's a problem-solving conversation. It's looking for a solution in the right way. And if you do that and you can pull off this trick and mutual interest going forward, you watch us go. Royal Mail, you watch us go, and our members and the people of this country will benefit from that, absolutely. And shareholders and anyone else watching, we've got to make people feel that this is something special, and they're investing their money in something special. By investing in us, it's making them look better. By customers using us, it's making them look better. It's making their product look better, because we are Royal Mail. And we've got a proud army of postal workers out there on the street, loved by the public. This is the real time to big it up. But we can't do that if the culture's no good. We can't do that if people don't trust each other and can't work together. That's why this is serious, because it is key to everything else we want to do. We've got to get this right, and we are determined to do it. And anyone listening, if you're talking to someone in work tomorrow, one of your mates, this is no different when we're putting all our energy into a ballot in bad times. We now need all the same energy into this. Tell them to fill this in, because this isn't a one-off that's just going to go into a cupboard and get ignored. This is going to be the start of something. And if you want to tell us something good or bad, you're not going to get exposed as an individual. You fill that in and make sure we know about it, because it's the only way we can take the business forward.
Thank you, Terry. Simon, I wonder if you want to comment on the back of that one.
Yeah, I think, Chris, well, look, the first thing I'd say, Chris, to everybody is you can hold us to account, right? So if we do the survey, we don't change, then you're well within your rights to hold us to account and ask us why. I'm cool with that, because I know we're going to do something with it. And by the way, you know, we're doing this together. So, you know, it's myself, it's Terry and the team, it's Michelle and the team at Unite as well. So the proof will always be in the pudding, as they say. I can understand why people might historically have felt they've said things and it hasn't gone anywhere. I have to say, I've got a totally different point of view. And by the way, in terms of my own agenda, and you can certainly ask my team, they will tell you that the top of my agenda is trust. Trust everywhere. We have trust on the doorstep. It's crazy that we don't have trust everywhere. And when we get that trust, and I think Terry said it very, very well, then competition, look out. Because we already got some fantastic advantages. Imagine what it would be like when we're all really pulling in the same direction to really win. And trust will be the great unlock in making sure that we reinvent this British icon for the next generations. So please help us. Please let us know how we can help you. And we're going to.
Thanks, Simon. You've mentioned Unite quite a bit, and we're seeing some of this coming through on some of the workplace questions, some of the questions that we're seeing through here as well, about how important it is that not only frontline staff but also managers getting involved, because if we're going to be building trust, we've got to make sure that we're getting everyone's different perspectives on that. So I don't know if there's anything more that you want to say about, actually, what do we want to hear from managers? Are there issues that we're starting to see coming through? And also, as a secondary question, how do we actually make this stick? You talked about joint action plans and so on. Once people have looked into the individual units, what are we expecting from managers when they're looking at all of their own data in the local area as well? And how do we work together to do that? So, Simon, maybe if I can continue with you for that one.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Jenny. I do think, Jenny, we probably need to stop categorizing people as managers or senior managers or level this or level that or whatever else it is. I've said it's trust everywhere. And I think everyone will have their stories to tell. And I think, we'll have some great examples of magnificent everywhere. And we'll have some bits that we're probably less keen to learn about. So I have to say, Jenny, I kind of struggle with the question a little bit, because for me, it's not about manager or non-manager or this or that level or the other level. I've said it's everywhere. And by the way, I do think we need to rebuild trust at not just one level, but many levels. I think, Jenny. So, Jenny, I apologize. I might have answered that in a slightly different way, but I'm just sort of struggling with one level's fine and another level's not fine. I think we have issues everywhere, or opportunities. We'll put it that way today.
Yeah, I think the point is everybody's got to get involved, right, so that we can see all of the issues. That's the only way we can build trust. So,
Jenny,
Gary, go on.
Yeah, I'll have a go at that, Jenny. And I think because there's already initiatives I've seen that Simon's putting in place. And that is the fact that, we have this, people say it's us versus them, and we have all this type of situations. We know there's some good relationships out there, but I really genuinely believe that local managers, especially, but maybe throughout all levels, I don't know so much about that, but I don't think local managers have been allowed to manage. I don't think they've had the autonomy they need. I don't think they've had the support to build relationships. I think we've been in a situation where managers have been sitting in the office all day staring at a computer, when really they should be out in the office working with people, getting solutions from our people, moving forward. Where you see the strongest relationships is where they talk on a regular basis, they talk to each other with respect, they treat people like human beings, and Vicky Verkey, and that's what it is. So I think I can say that I believe Simon's looked at the role of a local manager and some of the things that they've been expected to do during the course of the day, and the demands that have been placed on them from people that are not in the office, not facing that daily situation, have sometimes, I think, put them in an impossible situation. So they don't necessarily need me or want me probably to make any defense of it, but I'm saying, if we're going to change the relationship, then everyone's got to be given the support and the ability to be able to work in that relationship. And equally, a local manager and a local representative and the people locally have got to have a sense of autonomy, that on a daily basis, whatever the challenge is on that day, that they deal with it. And whatever people think are up the chain, then they will have to justify the actions that they took. But given the responsibility, they're the ones who actually know the answers. We've always known the best answers come from the workplace. People are actually doing the job. So, I think we've turned it on its head. And when it's looking at strategy going forward, I think culture was right at the bottom of it. Now we're putting culture and trust right at the top. So there's no use saying we want to be here in 5 years' time, but we haven't changed the culture, because there'll be a drag effect, there'll be a fallout, we haven't improved relationships. So everyone's got to give it a chance. If we've got wrong uns in the organisation, anywhere, if we got wrong uns, I've said it before, they're going to get exposed because these surveys will expose it. If there's an office that constantly is telling us, or even on this survey, it's appalling in here, well, we're going to come in and deal with it. So there's no hiding place. So people are going to have to really concentrate and work hard at these relationships and be given, as I say, the autonomy and the support to do it. That's why I think it's going to be different for a local manager.
Yeah, and Terry, if you don't mind, I'll just add on that. Is, you know, we're doing a day in the life of. When I joined, I had a couple of days within the manager. Actually, Angelica in Wimbledon, thank you very much. John, who looked after me when I was down in Cobham as well, thank you very much. But Anna in Sale, Anna, I don't know if you're out there or someone knows who you are out there. But Anna, if you're not on the line, I hope someone lets you know that I name checked you, because it's thanks to Anna that we're actually making. Anna's doing a test for us. I realize that we ask our delivery office managers to do 126 things a day. That's one thing every 4 minutes. Some days 186 things a day. That's one thing every 2.5 minutes. We give them, I thought it was 206 policies. It's actually 212. The industry standard's 25. You know, and as Terry said, under those conditions, how on earth can some of our frontline managers actually spend the time with the people, you know, building trust, really focusing on what we need to do for the customers? So we do have our part to play as well. And Terry, thank you very much. You reminded me of that. And it's I just wanted to add a little bit more flavor. By the way, new ways of working for the delivery office managers. I'm optimistic about it. The trials are going really well, and maybe it'll be everywhere, maybe September time, also in time for everyone getting perhaps nice shiny new PDAs. Let's wait and see.
I know we are well over time now, but you've got to give me 2 seconds to at least do the final pitch and remind people of the dates before we kind of give our last question and let you guys sum up. So 9th of May, put it in your diaries. Once you've gone and done your voting in your local elections, make sure that you've done this. It is 5 minutes, genuinely. It's a really quick survey. It's open 24/7 online. You should have all been getting your postcards home as well. So there's a QR code that's on there, all nice and easy. Please make sure you go on and do the survey. So back to you, Chris. Thank you for picking them up.
No problem, Jenny. That's fantastic. So we are, as Jenny says, we're right at the end. I think Jenny's got one more question. I've got one more, and then we're going to let Simon and Terry sum up. So, final opportunity to you who are watching as well. The comments have been fantastic. So let us know if you've enjoyed the session. Let us know if you need to see and you want to see more of this type of stuff, not just with Simon and Terry. Of course, there's other people with other responsibilities in both the union and the business. Also, we've had a lot of question about deliveries, just from a CWU perspective. We're sitting down with Mark Boats to record a delivery podcast tomorrow afternoon. So that will be out hopefully tomorrow evening, answering lots of your questions that you've made on deliveries tonight. So could have asked lots and lots of final questions. One, somebody's asked, can you two sort out the Super League situation? Another, welcome to Royal Mail for you, Simon. And quite a few of our members have said they're happy to participate in the survey if you give them a week's leave to do so. So there's an offer that you can't refuse. Final question would be from me, before Jenny puts her final question across, would be, obviously this type of interaction is fantastic. We've had nearly 15,000 people now who have dipped into the session, averaging over 6,500 people constantly. So that's fantastic. And we're really, I'm sure, are all delighted with that. But we know you've been getting out and about, Simon. We know Terry has been and always has been getting out about in his whole union career. So a question for you both is, going forward, are you prepared to take this attitude on the road, out meeting people, talking jointly, and going to the co-face sort of things? I want to come to you, Simon, first, if I can. Well,
I think I have, Chris. And, I go out and about at least one day a week, sometimes two. And last week it was 4 days. And by the way, sometimes the team say to me here, Simon, how would you find the time? The truth is, I get energized by being out and about in the operation. And I always learn something and I go, wow, that's really interesting. We could really do something with that. So actually, Chris, the direct answer to your question is I am already out and about. I hope that this is what I'm doing, and by the way, if I'm not and I'm out and about, please tell me, because I'm always up for learning, listening and learning. And next time I am out and about, please grab me, please come and talk to me. I am always up for an open and honest chat. Terry, over to you.
I was just going to say, one of the please areas we were certainly pleased to see you visiting was God's Country in Plymouth, Simon. So well done for that.
I enjoyed that, Chris. I enjoyed that. But the team promised me fish and chips, and they haven't quite delivered it yet. So I will be going back.
If they were proper Plymouthians, they'd have got you a pasty. But there you go, Terry.
Yeah, what a mistake not having a pasty down there. That is. Yeah, in terms of getting out and about, we're now starting to do that more. We did a joint visit last week. I'm down in Swindon tomorrow. I'm going to the Research and Development Centre down at Swindon with Akin Dunwald. So, but certainly I would imagine we'll be doing more joint visits, but also individually units doing visits. So, and I want to do that because it's always been that way for me. When you get there and you meet the people, you know, you might get some bad stories and all that, but generally you get nothing but respect, and you know, you see it for real. You see it for what it is. All of our members, in my opinion, a vast majority of it are thoroughly decent people. They've got a great vocational sense of purpose, and it is where you get the inspiration. And to, you know, to see some of the conditions they're working in, or some of the things they've had to try and resolve during this pandemic, you know, people just haven't got a clue how much goes in to making sure people get that parcel or that letter on the doorstep. And it's always inspiring. And as Simon says, you always come away with something, whether it's good or bad, you come away with something, and that influences your thinking. So, I mean, sometimes it's squeezing it in with all the other stuff that you're doing in a week, depending on where it is. I see someone, I think it was Tam, put in that the borders are open now. Why don't you come to Scotland? So always happy to come to Scotland. So we'll just wait for the other places to open, Tam, and then we'll come and see you. So no, absolutely on the agenda to do that. If we've got the big agreements in place, we've moved all the commitments forward in the pathway to change agreement, and that frees me up a bit. The poor operational officers, I'll speak of all the officers in the union and the postal executive who have been absolutely blinding in the work that's been put in to try and move that agreement forward. Once all that, you know, the real big work is being done, then maybe we'll all get some time for some visits, but I certainly will, and we will use that time. So no question we'll be out there.
Well, that's good, because I've just been noting down all the people that have been asking you for you to come. North Essex, I can see Croydon, Lerwick, the Valleys, Wolverhampton, Kent, Manchester. Go to Brum for a curry, which sounds quite good as well. So I've made a list. I'm not sure I've got all of them. Bury St Edmunds coming up as well. So Simon, it's great. You're never going to be in the office. I'll be able to just sit back at my desk and not do anything. So with that, I think that's a good note to end on. So maybe, Terry, do you want to give us any final words, any final sum up that you've got?
Yeah, I think everyone watching will want to know how you feel, Jenny. You was nervous starting. You've got 15,000 people watching you. I don't know how that's made you feel, but no. Well, what can I say? I think it's been a great session. It was really, really important, I think, that we did this. And I think it's really important we build on it. But the message is absolutely clear. Whether you want to say good things or bad things, especially the negative things, they're the things we really, you know, we want to get out on the table on the get-go, to start demonstrating to people that this is different, that we are going to make a difference, and we are going to move forward on this stuff. You know, don't just complain about it. Fill in the survey and test us, hold us to account, as Simon said. And if you're working alongside someone tomorrow and they didn't watch this last night and they're being cynical about it or saying, what's the point? Encourage. If you speak to another 2 or 3 people, then that's more people filling it in. Let's have a massive turnout, and then let's see what we do. We'll feedback the information, then let's see what we do with it. Test us, hold us to account. If you really want to influence us making a difference, your first start point is to take part in this survey and send it back to us. Thanks for everyone who's come on tonight, by the way.
Brilliant. Thank you, Terry. Simon, any final words from you?
And a thank you to yourself, Jenny. A thank you to Chris as well. Terry, thank you as ever. I know we've been out and about, and we'll be speaking on our regular basis as we go forward. And look, for all of the team out there, please help me. Please help me help you. And you know, as I always say, it's not about me, it's about we. It's about us all participating and all reinventing this British icon for the next generations. And I think this is a really, really, really important topic. This is our great unlock.
Thank you, Simon. And so, I mean, just to come in, we've had loads of positives, but people saying, what about this? What about that? What about the other? We're going to be doing more of this stuff, more joint activity. We're going to be talking about parcel force, deliveries, mail centers, logistics, etc. So, please don't feel we missed you out. This was a sort of general opening session. Thank you to my friend Di, who I thought was a friend, who wants Jenny to replace me in the CWU sessions from now on. I'm not too sure about that, Di. I also want to say, I suppose, a few thank yous, really. Firstly, to our panelists, because these guys obviously have been very good tonight. You've been very well received, but it isn't easy. Neither Terry nor Simon had any sight of any questions that you were going to put tonight. So I think they've done a great job. So thank you to you. Thank you to all of our reps who have been on tonight and in amongst the comments, answering the members' questions and supporting them. But most of all, thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. Over 17,500 of you now. So that really is fantastic. The links will stay on the page afterwards, so you can share them. We'll put them out as a union. I'm sure Jenny and the team will do that through Royal Mail channels as well. So I think all that's left from us to say really is thank you to everyone. Good night and stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.